North Korea has always been a place of mystery, more legend than reality, a country shrouded in secrecy and speculation. For decades it has captured the imagination of travelers and outsiders alike, its borders tightly sealed, its stories rarely told firsthand. The idea of visiting stirs a unique blend of excitement and unease, a cocktail of curiosity and apprehension that's hard to describe. It's not just another stamp in the passport, it's a journey into the unknown. The days leading up to my trip were filled with nervous energy, as if I were preparing for an expedition to another planet. Every item I packed felt significant, every decision weighed with extra care. This wasn't just about packing bags, it was about mentally preparing to enter a society so different from my own, a place where every action would be observed, and every word carefully chosen. I pored over every rule and guideline, aware that I'd be a guest moving within strict boundaries where even small mistakes could have big consequences. The responsibility weighed on me. The thrill wasn't about danger, but about the rare privilege of glimpsing life behind the world's most formidable curtain, a chance to see, even briefly, what so few outsiders ever witness. On my last night before crossing the border, I stared out my hotel window, feeling the weight of leaving behind the chaos and comfort of my own world. I wondered what awaited me on the other side. I was about to surrender my autonomy, trusting my guides and following a path laid out for me, knowing that every step would be watched and every moment carefully managed. The journey wasn't just about discovering North Korea, it was about discovering how I would respond to it, how I would adapt, and what I might learn about myself in the process. With a deep breath, I prepared to step into the unknown, ready to embrace whatever surprises and challenges this extraordinary journey would bring. From the first briefing it was clear, travel in North Korea is highly structured, with no room for spontaneity. You're never alone. Official guides accompany you everywhere, acting as interpreters, guardians, and gatekeepers. The itinerary is fixed. No wandering, no detours, every visit and meal pre-approved. It feels like a golden cage, presented with pride, but a cage nonetheless. Photography is tightly controlled, only the grand monuments and pristine parks are encouraged. Encounters with locals are always facilitated, never spontaneous, and interactions feel curated. You observe life through glass, close but never quite touching. Adjusting to this reality is the first challenge, surrendering control and simply observing. It can be frustrating, but also liberating. You become a passenger in a carefully crafted narrative. Your role is to watch, listen, and try to understand, always aware of the chapters left untold. In North Korea you learn to find meaning in subtleties, and to accept the limits of what you're allowed to see. Entering the Racine Special Economic Zone from China was like stepping into another dimension. Chaos replaced by quiet, wide roads and a different air. The contrast was immediate and striking. The bustling noise and energy of the Chinese side faded away, replaced by a sense of order and calm that felt almost surreal. The border crossing itself was efficient but carried an undercurrent of anticipation and curiosity. Our group, among the first Westerners since the pandemic, was greeted with formal efficiency, and our curated journey began. North Korean officials welcomed us with polite smiles and a sense of ceremony, making it clear that our visit was both special and closely monitored. Every step felt significant, as if we were part of a carefully orchestrated event. Racine, bordering China and Russia, felt like a controlled experiment in economic openness. Its location at the crossroads of three countries gave it a unique energy, yet everything was managed with precision. The city seemed to exist in a delicate balance between isolation and connection. Days followed a set rhythm, factory tours in the morning, school or market visits in the afternoon. Each activity was planned in advance, with guides ensuring we saw the best of what Racine had to offer, while also keeping us within certain boundaries. Everything was orderly, clean, and presented with pride. Workers smiled and waved, but it all felt choreographed. The city's appearance was immaculate, as if every detail had been arranged for our benefit, leaving us to wonder what daily life was truly like beyond the surface. The city was a mix of Soviet-era blocks and newer buildings, streets spotless and adorned with political slogans. Propaganda banners lined the roads, reminding us of the ever-present influence of the state, even in this zone of supposed openness. Life moved at a deliberate pace, bicycles outnumbered cars, and people walked with purpose. There was a sense of routine and discipline, but also a quiet resilience in the way people went about their day. Evenings brought supervised leisure, dinners with guides, hotel bars, or school performances. These moments were opportunities to observe local culture, but always within the framework set by our hosts. In these moments, the atmosphere relaxed, and we could ask more personal questions. Sometimes laughter broke through the formality, and genuine curiosity was met with cautious openness. It was a managed cultural exchange, a slow dance of curiosity and caution. Both sides seemed eager to learn, but always aware of invisible boundaries that could not be crossed. Rason was a unique window into North Korea's aspirations and its careful control. It left us with more questions than answers, but also a rare glimpse into a world few outsiders ever see. Our tour of Rason was a masterclass in stage management. Every moment, every encounter seemed orchestrated for our benefit. Each stop was polished for our arrival, as if the city itself had been waiting for us to step into a carefully arranged scene. At a kindergarten, children performed with precision and bright smiles, their movements practiced and flawless, their classroom a vision of happiness and order. Yet beneath the surface it all felt rehearsed. Factories were spotless, managers spoke confidently of success, and workers smiled on cue. Impressive, but their enthusiasm seemed to flicker only when we watched. We were always sealed off from the broader reality, kept at a distance from the everyday lives of ordinary people. We saw only the success story, never the struggle or the hardship that might exist beyond the official narrative. A seaside visit showed families enjoying the sun, children playing in the sand, and laughter drifting on the breeze, a softer, more human side of the country that felt genuine, if only for a moment. But even here, our guide's watchful eyes never left us. Shopping was orchestrated too, well-stocked stores, helpful staff, but few local shoppers, as if the scene was set just for us. Every experience was designed to show a perfect view, a world without flaws or uncertainty, with the curtains drawn on either side, hiding what lay beyond our permitted path. The essence of the journey was a series of carefully constructed windows into North Korean life, each one revealing only what we were meant to see. We were encouraged to see the best, to capture the highlights and marvel at the achievements, but always sensed what was left unseen, the questions that lingered just out of reach. The official lens was clear, but narrow, offering a selective truth that left us wondering about the rest. It was a world of curated perfection, where every detail was managed and every imperfection hidden from view. With reality just out of reach, we left with more questions than answers, peering through the official lens and wondering what truly lay beyond. Between official stops, fleeting glimpses from the bus window revealed a different North Korea. We saw people working fields by hand, pushing carts, and living simpler, harder lives, scenes never meant for our cameras. The contrast between the polished tour and these raw moments was striking. Our guides never commented, and we learned not to ask. These realities existed in silence. The duality was constant, grand monuments one moment, quiet hardship the next. True complexity lay in the gap between what was presented and what was glimpsed. North Korea is a country of pride and ambition, but also of resilience and survival. The journey was about reconciling these realities, seeing both the polished surface and the tangled threads beneath. It was the unfiltered moments that gave the experience its depth and humanity. Our visit felt like it was happening at a turning point. North Korea cautiously reopening after years of isolation. The presence of other foreigners, especially Russian tourists, was a visible sign of change. Our guide spoke proudly of new bridges and tourism projects, symbols of a future with closer ties to Russia. The country seemed eager to re-engage with the world, but strictly on its own terms. New agreements in education and culture, youth exchanges, and the first tourist train from Vladivostok all hinted at a strategic pivot. Optimism was cautious but real. The desire to reconnect was palpable. Yet the framework of control remained unchanged. These changes were pragmatic, not revolutionary, but they marked a new approach. In Rason, we witnessed the first green shoots of a new policy, a tentative effort to forge a new path. It was a rare privilege to see a country at the threshold of change. Amidst the monuments and rigid schedules, it was the small moments of connection that lingered most. At a foreign language school, a student asked about my favorite music. Suddenly, we were just two people, not tourist and citizen. Over dinner, our guide shared stories about his children, and we exchanged family photos. Simple, universal rituals. In those moments, politics faded, replaced by genuine human connection. There were also moments of sadness, watching people toil in the fields, feeling the distance between our worlds. The journey was a constant oscillation between awe and unease, connection and distance. It wasn't just sightseeing, it was an emotional experience that challenged my perceptions. I was touched by the dignity of the people and saddened by the visible struggles. These personal, emotional responses transformed the trip into a profound human lesson. North Korea's impact was felt most deeply in these fleeting, authentic exchanges. Leaving North Korea was as surreal as entering it. The chaos of China a jarring contrast to Racin's quiet order. I felt relief at regaining my freedom, but also a strange sense of loss for the structured world I'd left behind. Awe mingled with sadness. The discipline and pride were impressive, but the control left little room for individual expression. The journey forced me to confront my own preconceptions, replacing caricatures with a more nuanced human picture. I found warmth and curiosity, not just rigidity. The experience didn't offer easy answers, only deeper questions. It was a lesson in perspective, highlighting the diversity of human societies. The controlled environment made me a more attentive observer, searching for meaning in every detail. The emotional aftermath was complex, a blend of admiration, sorrow, and gratitude. North Korea left me changed, with a deeper appreciation for freedom and understanding. A journey to North Korea isn't just a trip. It's an experience that lingers long after you return. Its impact isn't in the scenery or food, but in the psychological and emotional shift of entering a world so sealed and curated. You're not just a tourist, you're part of a grand state-sponsored play, forced to see the world, and yourself, differently. Every moment is charged with significance, every interaction layered with meaning. The intensity is exhausting but deeply rewarding. It strips travel to its core, breaking barriers, challenging assumptions, and fostering empathy. North Korea is a mosaic of contrasts: grand statues, quiet smiles, discipline, and fleeting authenticity. The journey is ultimately inward, forcing reflection on your own world and values. It's a place of stark complexity, defying easy categorization. And that's why it's unforgettable. A reminder that the world's greatest adventures challenge not just our boundaries but our understanding.